How does Social Security impact your number? And I'm talking about the number that you need to have in order to retire safely and securely and have all the money you need to provide for your spending needs over your entire retirement and still have money left at the end. What is your number and how does Social Security impact that number? Since Social Security is an income stream that comes in from an outside source, then it reduces the number that you need to have saved for yourself. Now, currently we're talking a lot about the fact that the Social Security Trust Fund is running out, and it's slated to run out in 2033, maybe 2032. The number adjusts each year. If that happens and the trust fund runs out and there are no changes in legislation, then they're going to have to cut benefits. And that's just based on the way the law is written. They can only use the money that's coming in from Social Security tax to pay out the benefits to people who are receiving Social Security. And if the trust fund runs out, then the money that's coming in from Social Security tax will pay 70 to 75% of those benefits. Now, there is some legislation that's been proposed to increase the Social Security tax. 4 years ago, they said, we'll increase the tax on anybody that's making, more than $400,000. You'll start paying that Social Security tax again. That did not get passed. And the $400,000 number was pegged because President Biden had said, I'm not going to tax anybody that's making less than $400,000. Not going to increase taxes. Well, they're now proposing that they would increase the tax, bring that Social Security tax back in at $250,000. And what I mean by that is currently you only pay tax on the first $168,600. That's this year's Social Security wage base. So the first $168,600 is taxed for Social Security purposes. That's a 6.2% tax that you pay. The employer also pays 6.2%. That stops at that wage base, $168,600. They would bring it back at $200,000 and tax all income above that level. Now, over time, that gap would close because the $168,600 wage base increases by inflation each and every year, and that $250,000 would remain static, and so that would close, and soon enough, then everybody would be paying Social Security tax on all of their wages. That would bring more money into the Social Security Trust Fund or into the Social Security system to be used to pay out benefits. What they're proposing to do to make this more palatable to voters is make Social Security tax-free. And there's a lot of benefit to them in doing this, I think, because there's a lot of people that aren't really paying much tax on their Social Security. You only pay at the most tax on 85% of your Social Security. It gets phased in depending on your other income. And if you have income that is below a certain amount, then that Social Security income is not taxable. And so they would be picking up dollars on this higher amount of wages being taxed and not losing as much on giving up the taxation on Social Security. All of that said, I don't know if that's going to pass or not pass. Something has to be done, obviously. We don't know when it will be done, but I want to encourage you when you're thinking about your number and you're thinking about these issues that you look at Social Security not as a guarantee that you will absolutely for sure get that number, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So you want to stress test how your plan works if you get your full Social Security income, or you get 75% of it, or you get half of it. You want to do some stress testing to look at how would it impact your plan if you actually got less than what you're shown as your benefit on your retirement statement, your Social Security statement, so that you know for sure that your plan is still going to run and is still going to run strongly. Now, I'm going to model this in the financial planning that I'm doing. I'm going to do some deep dives, so be sure and subscribe so you don't miss any of those, and we'll take a look at how that can impact someone's plan. But encourage you to get your plan put together specific to your situation so that you know that you're on your best path for retirement.